Hi, Arturo. Welcome to this talk show of Charter Times. I'm your host, Shami Prabhakar, and we are going to talk about global outsourcing trend and strategies.
Okay.
But before we start with the topic, tell us something about your journey till now. Anything you want to talk about yourself?
Okay. So first of all, good morning, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to tell about this topic that I'm absolutely convinced about. This is essential in the current times. So about me, I'm 45 years old. I live in Spain, and all my background comes from the logistics sector. I started working with 17 years because of my father's death, and I started to manage the company of the family. It was a very small company in that moment, and I did not have any experience, as you can guess. So I get all that I know and all that I have achieved has been by working with my team and having been surrounded by people that can help and grow with you. It's my personal vision of the company. So I'm absolutely convinced about the power of the team and the power of be surrounded of collaborators, could be by outsourcing, to achieve all your goals. To be brief, I sold the company to a multinational one in 2009, and I started to fulfill my academic background because I did not have time when I was young. I have done different studies in executive education. Here in Spain, we have three of the most famous business schools in the world that are ESADE, IS, and Instituto de Empresa. So I have done with ESADE and IS. And actually, I'm finishing my grade in business administration. I have all the background in practice, but not in academic. So actually, I am trying to put into value all my background, what I have done in all my career, and through being an independent consultant, focusing strategy, focusing international agreement. And I have done different works for different companies. Now I'm focusing technology. I'm working with two important American companies about technology. And one of my recommendations to my customers, to my clients, is always, though, if you don't have enough structure to cover the demand, don't worry. The world is full of people that can help you to cover the demand. So I think that fits perfectly with our conversation about what you want me to talk about.
It's really good to hear about your experiences and how you built your company and on your own and you sold it. And yeah, it's really good. And as we all see nowadays, in terms of in this pandemic, a lot of things have changed. The world is moving faster towards digital transformation, the new normals, work from home, or being it, shifting the portfolio to more digital. Every company has that on plate as of now. And as you see, outsourcing is one of the most trending topic already in the global scenario. Many companies have, taken this initiative for the first time when they are actually forced to take the outsourcing measure, or they understood the underlying value, underlying benefits when they can outsource the processes to somewhere else. It could be in the same country, it could be some other country, low-cost countries, or it could be anywhere, or maybe the whole process, maybe the piece of it, anything. But at least most of the companies cannot ignore it anymore. So it's kind of a very trending pattern now, which we all can notice. You can notice well from Spain, I can notice it from India, everywhere. So all the companies like Accenture or Infosys, any companies who are in this field, particularly, they're growing multifold since pandemic, and a lot of new companies outsourcing these things. So depending on their own strategy, on the industry, on their risk appetite, what they can transfer, what they cannot, but at least they are considering it and many of them for the very first time. So what do you think in this current pandemic scenario? How can outsourcing help a company? We just want to hear from your experiences. If I am a company owner, I'm a business owner, I'm a medium-sized company owner, not a very large one I have, and still I'm just considering. I heard about outsourcing, that it's a very good thing. Some of my colleagues in industry are talking about it, but I have no exposure to it. If I want to evaluate, where from I start looking at it, and how it can help my company?
Okay, I think that we should go a bit earlier from the pandemic. Okay, we are living inside the globalization. All the business is global. You can buy from India to United States, from Australia to Canada. It doesn't matter. So the world is global. So your production, your service should be global too if you want to leverage the opportunities that globalization brings to us. So what happens? If you start growing, you usually, in the pre-COVID-19 scenario, we usually try to, okay, let's contract people, let's buy another building, let's grow our structure in order to be ourselves who gives the service. And we don't take into value about a different way of doing things. Okay, we are, in my opinion, I am the best, and I'm going to do things myself. What happens? We all have been aware about the working from home, about the digital transformation, etc. But at least the experience I have here in my country, the companies doesn't have, at least the small and medium-sized companies doesn't have a good concept about or a real concept about what digital transformation is. And digital transformation is not be able to do a Skype conversation like you and me are doing now. It's a bunch of tools and a bunch of procedures in order to optimize all the process on all the supply chain and all the process of your company. So what happens? COVID-19 arrives and we don't have option. If you want to continue, you should change from yesterday night to today in the morning. You should change 100%. And the great thing is that we have realized that, okay, it works and we can grow with this. So we have, I wrote an article about the opportunities that the pandemic bring to us, and we need to leverage the opportunity. What happened? Now we are absolutely afraid about to grow our structure, about to contract new people. Not because of what a contract is. It's because the compromise that you have with your employee, and you are not sure about it going to last enough. So the solution is the outsourcing. It's very simple. The same that I always say, okay, when you have a tooth pain, you go to the dentist. You have no doubt about that. So if you need 3 collaborators in digital transformation to make a software for a customer, why not to outsource or to sign a collaboration agreement? I love the outsourcing, but also the collaboration agreement between companies. It's the same that companies, they want to go into a new market and do a merger or acquisition of a company in order to do an inorganic growing. So let's do the same with the process. Let's do the same with the service. Why not? If you don't have enough structure, don't worry. You can find the structure that you need in the market. And I'm sure there is a lot of people, I'm sure because I have the experience, there is a lot of people that are able to do that. 10 days ago, I received a call from a company that in the opposite way. They are a big and professional software factory, and now they want to offer the hours that they have free now because the job has gone a bit down, and they want to offer. They want to be outsourced. They want to be contracted by other companies all over the world, and we are managing this right now here. And I think it's a very, very great opportunity for companies to do business and to grow and to get visibility and presence globally. That is essential right now.
Right. So, do you think this trend, which is now in there, I mean, the outsourcing trend, it's temporary because of the pandemic, or I mean, for example, I have seen a couple of examples which has never happened. So, British Petroleum, you must be aware of, BP is one of the largest company in oil and gas sector. That company has sold their multi-billion-pound office in heart of London, and they are moving out. They're going, because most of the employees are working from home. They are taking a very, I mean, in very smaller size of the office, almost less than 1/3 capacity. They have decided to outsource more than 2,500 FTEs processes, entire finance and all other processes to India. And it all happened within 6 to 8 months. They might be planning it since earlier, but we can hear it now. And as specifically, many companies are exiting from long-term commitments. They're going out of, they're more focusing on the quality of delivery of services rather than investing in the capex, investing in the office space, investing in things which are not their, forte. So they're more relying on other partners. They're more relying into a shared service environment, as you said. So maybe like-minded companies in a similar industry are going together to build another, center which can cater for all of them in a shared service model. Or there are a lot of models within outsourcing. So it's not necessary that you go with a single model where you outsource something to another company. There could be a lot of other options. As you said very rightly in the example, if somebody has free hours, it's not necessary that he comes out of that and he start doing all the outsourcing, but in those free hours, he can cater another company. Similarly, a lot of new roles have got created in market. There are a lot of people who have started professional services on hourly basis now. So there are a lot of shared CFOs, shared CEOs, shared CTOs, all this kind of profile with experienced professionals. That's also part of outsourcing, wherein they want to outsource their skills. So, so this is all we can hear now a lot. It's not that it was not there in media, it was not there, no one was discussing about outsourcing. It was always there for last 20 years in the trend. But now it's somewhere altogether at a different level in trending. So every company is somewhere either evaluating the opportunity to outsource something, or they're evaluating some shared positions or contractual positions, which is part of outsourcing somewhere. So do you think this trend is going to last beyond pandemic? So let's say next 6 to 8 months, when the pandemic impact is somewhere managed after getting the vaccines, still the outsourcing boom will continue and people will still realize the benefits out of it, or it will get impacted?
Okay. In my opinion, things has changed, and this will last a lot. Why? Because we have realized that things works and everything is going well, even better than before. So different things like the problem with the people that have children at home, or a person that need to be cared about and need to combine the job time with the familiar time or the personal time. That it was something that we didn't realize before the pandemic, and now we are living with this and it's working perfectly. So when something works, you don't need to change. That's the reason that I think that these changes are going to stay for a long time. Things are changing. Our process must be done in a different way. And if you are not convinced about that, unfortunately, you will be out of the market in a very, very short time. So the thing is very clear, and you have talked about the BP. British Petroleum is a magnificent company. It's a very, very incredibly big company. So if they are doing this way, I'm sure they are not stupid. So they have been thought extremely deeply about that and take into value that the advantages are better than the drawbacks.
So apart from this, there are a couple of factors which makes the impact on your decision. That the model, the approach, how you are going to, what is your strategy for outsourcing. So for larger companies, the options are, multiple options are available in the market. They can choose to open their own shared service center in a low-cost location like somewhere Philippines or India or somewhere else. They can even get into a contract with a larger company like Accenture or any other company, who can take care of one of their processes entirely. They can outsource completely. It's very easy for them in terms of, because they have a size, they have a number, so it's a minimum commitment deal as well. But when it comes to the smaller companies, they have to take a different strategy. They cannot just copy and paste what BP is doing today, because what BP is doing, the other company which is 1,000 size of the BP cannot just copy and paste the same strategy. So they might have to go for different options. They have to evaluate a lot of ROIs. That what if I am going for this model? What would be the risk? What would be the opportunities? How much I'm going to save in terms of my resources? How much I'm going to save in terms of my capex? Lot of considerations will be there. So for choosing the right strategy, and if actually what I believe, if you choose the wrong strategy in first place, you will end up blaming outsourcing as a wrong thing. But in fact, it's not the outsourcing which has screwed up something. Rather, it's your decision, it's your strategy which was not selected appropriately for your industry, for your size of the company. So on this line, how this size of the company, size of an organization decides or impact the strategy for outsourcing, in your opinion?
Okay. In my opinion, companies like Accenture, you have talked about that, doesn't have a problem. They are the owners of the market, and they put their roadmap. And if you want to work with them, you don't have no choice. But if your company is small and you have clients that require you for your services or for your product, you have a size for this customer. You should take into account what is the league where you are playing in, and you should select the teammates, outsourcing, collaborators, or employees that plays in the same league that you are playing, and you should. The point is to create the agreement that make you feel sure about the quality you are going to offer to your customer will be the best, because you are responsible with the customer. You are the person responsible about what the customer are going to receive. So this is your responsibility. But in my opinion, the best opportunities are for the smallest company, because it's easier for them to reach and to connect with appropriate people than a company as British Petroleum or as Accenture, that because of their absolutely big bureaucracy and procedures and strategy and roadmaps, this is a very big limitation in order to find the soft skills that are absolutely essential in that moment.
Right. So okay, this is all about then the strategy, but there are a lot of risk we have seen, and especially people have a lot of perceptions about outsourcing. Sometimes it's correct one, sometimes it's coming from someone else, but there are a lot of risk actually associated. Challenges are actually there in place when you explore the outsourcing opportunity for your organization for very first time, specifically when you are not the only decision maker in your company. So I mean, a couple of things I have already spoke to. We had been doing a lot of research around outsourcing with the lot of people and talking across the globe. So, for example, the digital transformation last week, Manuel Berrigan was talking about, in digital transformation, you have the biggest challenge you have is the management's intention. If your management is not aligned with the benefits, what you are going to achieve by doing this, and they are taking this decision under some pressure, it will not work. So it has to be wholeheartedly together, and there should be a common vision. It should not be shared. It should not be an individual vision, and everyone should be convinced that why they want to outsource. There should be some purpose aligned with the decision. It's not that, okay, company A is doing, or British Petroleum is doing, or somebody else is doing, I should also do it. Rather, they should understand the underlying benefits. But even when they do it, even when they understand the benefits and they understand the common risk coming out from the market, still there are a lot of risk. Sometimes they overlook, they could not get into, and there are a lot of challenges which comes. It different from, so in my experience, I have faced a couple of challenges differently than somebody else have faced. When we talk to each other, we get to know about it. So in your views, because you are already working on the similar lines, you are already advising companies, for getting the things outsourced. You must have managed a couple of projects there. What are the biggest risks apart from the management intention or choosing a wrong partner or wrong strategy? What else could go wrong in the process, and you don't get the desired result?
I have said before, the main problem you can have is to give a bad service to your customer. So for this reason, it's essential to do an appropriate selection plan to choose what is the best player to play with you in this situation. So because if you contract a company or outsource a person or a company and they don't work properly, you will lose the client and they will continue working with other people. And that is not because they are good or they are bad. It's because they are not correctly aligned or correctly selected in order to give the best result. So once again, this is easier for small companies than for bigger ones, because for small companies you can contract or outsource people for a small project, for a very, very specific thing, and it's very easy to manage this situation. The bigger company is, the more difficult this management is to do. But they also have big resources, so it's easy for them to have a big portfolio of people to come in. But when a company is very, very big, the key services or the key procedures they will do by themselves, because they have a structure and they have money to create what they need. If you are a small one, you should do this very, very deeply in order to not to fail and not to lose a client.
True. So it's really good to learn from you the insights about what are your experiences about outsourcing. But so as you are helping people in your country, as you said, on a lot of projects as an individual professional as well. So you are advising people on outsourcing strategies and other things which they cannot understand. We don't even expect a business owner, an entrepreneur or somebody who has started their own startup to understand everything. They're not expected to understand the nuances of outsourcing and everything else if there are professionals available like you around them. So if somebody wants to get in touch in Spain specifically, or maybe nearby countries with you, how are you reachable? Do you have your own website or your own contact details? How can they reach out to you?
Yes, the thing that I use the most is the LinkedIn profile. I have my LinkedIn page, and inside my profile there is all my details, my telephone, my email, and I have my own website. It's ajgalvez.com, where I explain a bit about my life, and I have a post with that where I publish in Spanish and English different ways of related always with management, but my personal view, not in a technical way, but in a depending on my experience.